Hi, Rob. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. How are you, Andrea?
There you are. I'm doing okay.
The default is that it always mutes me, so
It
which is
does.
probably a good idea.
Yes. Yes, indeed. So I just sent you an email. I got your message.
I don't know what was going on with me yesterday, but
No worries. So I wonder if possibly what I had done is I had asked people to submit their questions at least 24 hours in advance, or at least in advance.
yeah.
That
Okay.
would give me time to read their questions
Yes.
and prepare a demo if needed to
Mhm.
answer their questions. And
Right.
so maybe that's why you set an alarm for 24 hours in advance, or that
Yeah,
could
it
be.
could be. It could be.
In any case, you can always find the schedule. Actually, two different ways that you can find the schedule. One is going to the Texans Toastmasters website, and
Mhm.
there's an actual link to the Pathways page. The same location where you went to go submit your Pathways questions, there is a list of all of the virtual support sessions there. So the schedule will be posted there, and you can see the schedule for the next few weeks is going to be every Sunday and every Thursday.
Right.
In the future, after March, I'll probably start offering on different days, but at the current schedule that worked for all the clubs and for me happened to be on Sundays and Thursdays. So in the future, like I said, in April and May, I'll probably do a different two different days and times, most likely early mornings, to see if that works better for people. But you can always check here on the Pathways page. And the other place too, if you have the Zoom app, you should be able to look on the Zoom app for upcoming meetings as well. I don't know, are you using the Zoom app?
I am. Let me take a quick look and see because I think in the past I tried looking there and I don't think it showed anything.
It did not. Okay. All right. Because this will always be the same link for these sessions
Right.
that are set up. So as long as you're using the same link, it should, I would think on my side, it actually says, I can look up the meetings.
Mhm.
But I do post them on the website, on the Texans Toastmasters webpage. So if you don't see it in the Zoom app, then definitely just go to the Texans Toastmasters website. And I responded to your email and I put the link in there in case you don't have it.
Okay. Thank you.
You could also do a search for a Texans Toastmasters Club and then click on the Pathways link on the left. So
Got it.
the other question I think you had asked was, well, you said that it seemed like the session was canceled, but the sessions will never be canceled. These are required sessions. So even if nobody shows up, I have to stay on for the entire time period that I've scheduled so that if somebody logs on and wants to ask a question, they could. They're,
Okay.
they're technically considered office hours, basically.
Right.
I'm here to support the club. So if at any point in time in the future, if you wanted to log in and during the office hours and and ask a question, you're welcome to do that. I had hoped by preparing some demos that would also encourage people to want to log in and see what was going on. Um, people were excited at the beginning, but I think
Right.
people have kind of forgotten. Let me
Yeah.
ask you, have you actually logged on to Toastmasters International's website and started your pathway path?
I did. I did. I actually chose a path.
Excellent. Which path did you choose?
The one that was most recommended, which was something leadership. I can't remember. It was leadership something.
Okay. All right. So did you have any difficulties when you logged on walking through the skills assessment and selecting your
No,
path? Okay. And are you using the online option or are you using the print option?
online.
Online. Is anybody in your club going to use the print option or was
Uh,
everybody going to use the
I,
online?
I don't know at this point. I would imagine, probably online. There might be one person that I know of that might need to have the printed version just because they're not real tech savvy. So,
Okay.
but
All right. So we'll just remind that the person who's not very tech savvy, that the print option costs more. They have to pay
right,
$25 for the printed books in addition to the $20 for the path. So
right,
they pay $20 for the path and $25 for the books. And then they also have to wait for those books to arrive. And they don't all arrive at once because there are 5 levels. They send part of the books initially, and then as you complete the first few levels, then they'll send the next half of the books for that path.
I see.
So they kind of break it up. So you don't have everything all at once,
Right,
unfortunately. So that's some of the downside with the print option, in addition to the fact that you have to wait for the shipping to actually happen.
right.
You can't get started right away. So did you have any questions about logging in, taking the assessment, getting a path selected? Any
No,
questions so far on that?
no, not that I can think of.
Okay.
Everything was pretty straightforward. I went in, I went and I sent a badge to one of my members. I don't know.
Fantastic.
I have no idea. Just because I wanted to kind of start including people and making things a little bit more, I guess, obvious and more out in front.
Yeah,
So, just try to get people involved. And so I did that for our Toastmaster from the last week. So I
that's
sent a
great.
message to her.
Oh, that's fantastic. Now you guys meet on Thursday nights, is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
So the
And
launch
that's,
the launch happened on Tuesday.
yeah.
Did anybody else in your club log on during the week before the Thursday night meeting? Did anybody say that they had logged on and selected a path?
No, no, nobody, nobody had said that and nobody, nobody really indicated.
Nobody
I,
even talked about it, huh?
yeah, I gave a kind of an impromptu speech
Fantastic.
trying to encourage people to go in and log in and you know and at least look around,
Okay,
kind of look around because I think so many members don't even they've never even gone to Toastmasters International, and they,
right,
they've never logged in prior to Pathways, so
right.
it's a matter of getting everybody understanding this is the future and
That's right.
this is what you have to do, so let's go ahead and do it, and then you'll know if you have any issues. So that was I basically just gave a impromptu speech regarding you know
Okay.
doing that stuff.
Well, it sounds like most of the people in your club then are probably going to just stick with what they know, which is the traditional, which is fine, and they can do that. Have you had any new members sign up this
we
past week?
we had not this not this past week, but prior to in the past 2 weeks prior to that, we had a couple, and one is about to give his icebreaker this coming Thursday, and
Okay.
I told him, I said, you need to log in and you need to do this, and I sent him a copy of the icebreaker, uh, I guess outline
Uh-huh.
and the icebreaker evaluation, and told him you need to go online and stuff, and then print this evaluation out, bring it to the meeting, and do those things, and I'm gonna print those out as well and bring them. But he said he logged in, he didn't have any problems, and
Oh, fantastic.
he's looking forward to giving his icebreaker. So there's that.
All right, perfect. Well, then that's good. I'm so glad to hear that you are helping your new members get acquainted with it because while they joined 2 weeks ago and they have the choice of the traditional
Yeah,
or the new program, it's really good to get them started on the new program. I,
yeah,
I think that was the wise choice to make. So, congratulations. Good for you. Now, I know that you're the VP of membership, correct?
that's right. Yeah,
All right, so you don't have access to, you're not a Basecamp manager, but I'm
yeah.
going to take you through that process today. I'm going
Okay,
to show it to you. You won't have access to it, but
right.
I think you should know about it so that you can educate your VPE, your secretary, and your president on it.
Sure.
They may or may not have logged in to see it, but this will give you an idea of what it looks like. So can you see the Toastmasters International website,
Yes.
your screen? Okay. So I'm just going to log in real quick and get into the pathways so that you can actually see it. And this will also show you, are you in 2 clubs or just 1 club?
Just one club.
You're in 1 club. So one of the things that
Drop
you,
down.
yeah,
I see.
you haven't seen, but if you were in 2 clubs, you would have a drop-down menu and you would have to choose which club it is that you're logging in.
Gotcha.
And that's pretty important.
Yeah, our VP of Ed is in multiple clubs, so that's important. Okay.
It's extremely important because when they log in, they'll need to choose the club that they want to access at that point in time. And that's important for a couple of reasons. One, because if you're going to assign feedback or badges to somebody, you have to be logged into the club where that member is. So if I wanted to send feedback to another Pathways guide, I would need to log into the Pathways guide in order to have access to all of the other Pathways guides in order to send them feedback or badges. And
Got
if
it.
I wanted to send feedback or badges to anybody in the Texans Toastmasters Club, I'd need to log on to that in order to access those members. I wouldn't even have access to those members.
Right. Yeah.
And if I'm
That's when you'd find out is that, or where's that person? I can't find him.
right,
And then
right,
you know, oh, I need to switch that. Yeah.
absolutely. And the other place where that becomes important is when you finish a level or a path. That's also going to be important because you can work on your level or path in either area. You can access it, but
I see.
do when you complete a path, you want to be able to assign which area it goes to, and
Right.
you want to assign it to the correct. You want to complete it and let the Basecamp manager know for the particular club that you want them to have credit for it.
Yeah.
So if I'm working on presentation mastery and I want Texans to have credit for that, I would need to log into that and then complete it in there so that the Basecamp manager in Texans Toastmasters Club would receive the notification that I had completed that level and that they would actually say, yes, we approve that you have completed it, and they would get credit for it. The Texans Toastmasters Club would get credit for it. And so that becomes an area where it's really important when people log in that they're selecting the club they want to have credit for completion of levels and paths, feedback for the base, feedback for other members in their club. All right, so I'm logging into Texans Toastmasters Club. I'm actually the VPE for this club. Oh, I apologize. Yeah, let me go back. I think I'm gonna have to log out. Do that again. I hit the wrong button. It's okay. So down at the bottom, there is an option for login as Basecamp manager.
Right.
And this is what your secretary, your president, and your vice president of education will have access to. And they will need to specifically go in there to track the progress of their club members. Because as a club member, if you log in, you can't see what other people are working on. You have no idea what paths people have chosen. You have no idea what level they're at in the different paths as if you log in just as a member. But if you log in as a Basecamp manager, you will be able to see what paths people have selected and where they're at in the process. So you can see as a Basecamp manager, I have these 3 tiles that are available to me, and one of them is member progress. So I can actually look and see in my club who's logged on. I don't think anybody has. I think I'm the only person. Oh no, look, there are 2 people now. That's great. So I can see online, there are 2 people who have chosen the online option. I can see that because there's a 2 here.
Right.
That's the path that they've chosen, well, the method that they've chosen. I've actually started my path, so it says that I've actually started presentation mastery. I launched it, basically. I haven't done anything other than launch it, and so that's why it's telling me that it's in progress.
Right.
And the other person hasn't launched it at all, so I have no idea what it is that they have selected. Let's see if I refresh, if it comes up. I'm guessing it won't, but maybe. Just waiting for it. I'm sorry. My internet
No,
here
that's
is
fine. I mean,
really slow.
that's my life at work, is that's those circles.
I kicked my husband offline because I was like, you can't be slowing down my network. Go and do whatever you want for the next half
Right,
hour,
right.
but you can't slow down my network. So the nice thing here is you can come in and you can look at the individual progress to see who's actually selected a path. So right now I'm on path progress. This is me. Presentation mastery is the path that I chose. It says it's in progress because I actually hit the launch button
Right.
in the path. So it says that it's in progress. I can see that there's only one person, myself, that was
On that.
registered for it. And then this one, we're not seeing anything. So last refreshed, there's another path that somebody has selected, but it doesn't look like they've started it yet.
Right. They haven't launched it yet.
They haven't even launched it. So there's nothing, and nobody's completed a path yet.
Right.
Seeing as it's only a week old.
Right, right.
Let's see if there's more under individual progress. Obviously, the important thing there is to refresh.
Refresh, right.
So that it shows, because you can see the last time I logged on to this was on February 13th.
It's interesting that it wasn't set up to
refresh automatically. Yeah.
Yeah, at least when you first log into it. Yeah.
Right. It seems like it would. All right. So now I can see that somebody else selected leadership development. Was that the path that you selected too?
I believe so.
All right. So now I know that there's at least one other person who has selected a path, but they haven't launched it yet, which is great. That means at least somebody's in there. Somebody logged on. Yay, for my club. Trying to encourage them. And you can see that this breaks down to the different levels in each path. So each path has 5 levels. Obviously, nobody has started level 2, level 3, level 4, or level 5. You can't even launch those until you've completed level 1. Yeah, you have to kind of go into the chronological order. So it's nice that you have this available so that you can see how people are doing, where people are at in the process. Let's see what else we have here. Nothing very exciting. Oh, so we don't have any external training requests. One of the things that you may have noticed on, let me go back to the home page. One of the things that is there is the pending request. This is if somebody is going to do a speech or a project outside of the club, they will actually send the vice president of education, or I should call them the Basecamp manager. They'll send the Basecamp manager a request saying, hey, I'm going to do this project outside of the club. I'm going to do this speech outside of the club. And then that request will come here. And the Basecamp managers, they need to log on frequently to look at those requests and choose to approve it or decline the request. So any requests that show up would appear in this location, and then there would be an option, a check mark for approving or an X for declining the request.
Okay.
And this is actually very important. It also will impact somebody who's completed a level or completed a path. Those are also pending requests.
Okay.
So it's up to the Basecamp manager to regularly log in and see if there are any pending requests so that a person can advance to the next level, or if they can't advance to the next level, that they can find out why they can't advance to the next level. Maybe they haven't completed a portion of a level and they need to complete that before they can go on to the next level. There is a way to set up, do you guys use FreeToast Host, or do you use some other method for your website?
I don't know what it is exactly that we use, but it's not related to FreeToast Host or other. I can't even remember what the other most common one is, but EasySpeak, I guess, is one that's a common one. We don't use either of those.
All right, so you guys have your own website.
Yeah.
All right, so Well, yeah, this will be very important for your Vice President of Education to regularly come in here to look at the pending requests and approve and decline people's completions of their levels, of their paths, and any external training requests. So that's where they're going to need to go. Now, I will let you know that there is an option, at least with Free Toast Host.
To have a direct link.
Kind of, yeah. So the contact us page,
Mhm.
this email address that we use for our Free Toast hosts, this will automatically notify Basecamp managers. If there's a Basecamp message that comes in, it'll notify the Basecamp managers of those notifications of somebody completing a level or somebody completing a path or somebody needing approval for an external training. They have to actually set it up.
Oh, right. I get it. Yeah.
As the club's main email address on Toastmasters. Oh gosh, not .com. Well, good. I'm glad they bought both domains.
Right.
That worked in my favorite.
Yeah.
So when somebody does find a club and they look for your club, oops, go down to 2. I wonder if 2 miles is too small. Why is it showing California? Maybe it's because I haven't refreshed the 5 miles just in case. Oh, is it not my zip code? No, that is my zip code.
It needs to recognize it before it. Yeah.
That was odd. It's going to be in here somewhere. Not any of those. We've been too far north. Can you tell I just moved here because I'm like, oh, where am
Oh,
I?
really? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I've only been here for, well, almost a year now. I think March 1st will be my year.
This is your first time in Texas?
I've lived in Texas before, in other areas, Austin and
Okay.
Houston and El Paso.
Oh, okay.
So the email that the club has here,
Mm-hmm.
if you look in the bottom left-hand corner on the status bar, it's got a Gmail account. So that would need to change. I would need to change that to the Free Toast host email. And then once I did that, then the Free Toast host email would automatically send to the contacts of our club, but also for prospective members. But anything coming from the Basecamp email system would automatically be routed to the Vice President of Education, the Secretary, and the President. So that is one of the nice features of using the Free Toast host. Now, since you guys aren't using Free Toast host, you're using a different website, what you'll want to do is whatever email you have out here with Toastmasters International, you'll want to set up that email to automatically filter and forward Basecamp notifications directly to your Vice President of Education, your President, and your Secretary. And if you don't do that, then you'll need to let them know that they need to regularly log on to Pathways as a Basecamp manager and accept or decline any of those requests coming in for external training or for level completion. That's extremely important because people can't move on. This is one of the downsides is people just cannot move on to the next level.
Right.
If they've completed a level, they can't even have access to it until those pending requests are approved.
Got it.
So it's really important for, since you guys have your own website, I'm assuming that you have the ability to program an email address that would automatically forward emails coming from Basecamp managers, the email address. And I'm trying to think, I'll have to look it up, but once we start getting those approval requests, I can give you, I'll have to look and see if other areas have got the subject line or the email address, so that way you could set up filters based on the subject line and the email address, because that might make it easier for you, because you're probably not wanting the Basecamp manager notifications to go to the people who are being contacted for your club for membership or meeting questions. Maybe you do, I don't know.
Yeah.
How do you guys have it set up now? You have an email address on your website?
Yeah, we have a contact form, and right now it's set up to go to me and the admin, the web admin, which is our VP of PR.
Okay.
So right now it comes to, I don't know if it goes to anybody else. I don't know if it goes to the VP of Education. It might, but I don't think so.
All right.
And I'm pretty darn sure it doesn't go to the secretary or the president. So those things we can get that adjusted. That's not going to be a problem.
So at least since you're getting the messages, you know that it won't fall through the hoops.
Correct. Yeah, no, it doesn't.
You'll receive those pending notification requests, and even though you can't yourself log in as a Basecamp manager, you can at least forward those requests to somebody else.
Right.
And make sure that those Basecamp managers in your club could do it, could go on, log on, and accept, approve, and deny any requests that are out there.
I have a quick side note in regard to, so the three people, president, VPV, and then
secretary.
The secretary. Was there a particular reason that the secretary was included as the third person in that group?
Nope. I don't know what their decision was.
They're not third ranked in the whole thing, but I mean, I don't know. I'm just curious. That's all.
They did not give us any idea as to why they chose those three. And in some ways, I think it's a good thing, because the secretary job has always been kind of a light job in the past. So maybe it's good that they're kind of spreading the wealth around and having the secretary be a backup. But the secretary is third as a backup for Basecamp manager. So VP of Education is the primary Basecamp manager, and they're the ones who are primarily responsible for accepting those pending requests. If the Vice President of Education is gone on vacation, has stepped down from their position, for whatever reason, if they're unable to respond to a pending request, then the next person in line to log on and to respond to those requests would be the president. And if the VP of Education and the president are not able to do that, then the secretary has availability of doing that.
Right.
Why they chose those three, I don't know, but those are the three that they've chosen, and we don't really have any control at this point in time to make modifications to those three. That's the way it's going to be, unfortunately. Do you have any questions for me about the Basecamp manager?
No.
Checking member progress, pending requests. Then I would recommend the next time you're at your meeting, maybe pull aside
those people,
your VPE, your president, and your secretary, and walk them through that process. Show them that they can get in there, and talk a little bit about the email address. Who's your admin for your email and website?
That's our VP of PR, Mark, who's the one who had questioned. He was the one who asked about recording the sessions.
Oh, okay. All right.
So he, right now, and I just took a quick look while we were talking, and right now it's set up to go to our Yahoo groups. It looks like our general.
Oh, that's great.
Our general member thing, which it really probably should be going to our officer group mail. But it's going to just from what I see, unless I'm misinterpreting it, it looks like it's going to just our members, which means that anybody who's currently a member is getting those email requests from Toastmasters International.
Yeah, but that's great, because Yahoo groups, it allows you to do so much. Anybody who's a member of that group can log on and see the messages. Yeah, absolutely. And if you wanted to, as an individual, you can turn off notifications. You can tell it, I only want to check on the website. I want those emails to come directly to me.
Yeah, so we have a hard enough time getting people to accept the invitation. So.
Right, but probably not your officers would be my
No, our officers are much better than that. Yeah.
Right. So I think that's perfect. If that's the email that you have on file, is the Yahoo group email, if that's where they're going to, then that's perfect, because then those people will actually get the Basecamp manager request. So that's important.
Sure.
And then please just show them this page so that they know that they need to go in and accept requests. And the other thing nice too about the member progress is that you can track who's actually logged on, who's
Right. And
started a path, and if they haven't, then
be proactive about it. Yeah.
yeah,
Get on.
exactly. Keep encouraging your
Yeah.
members to get started. And if you see that somebody has, like I see somebody has done leadership development, they've selected the path, but they haven't started it. If that's the case in a couple of weeks, then I might want to contact that individual and say, hey, you haven't even
What's going
started
on?
it. Yeah, maybe
Right.
there's a problem. Maybe they don't know what to do.
Right.
Maybe they just haven't found a space on the schedule to do their icebreaker, and so that's what's holding them back. It's an opportunity for you to help the club members along on their journey. All right, well, if you don't have any other questions, this is all I have for you today. I just wanted to show you the Basecamp Manager
Nope, that would be it.
area and make sure that you guys get the email address set up.
Yes. Yeah.
Perfect.
And like I was like 10 minutes, it was like 8:25 after we were done talking to, guests and new members and stuff. So it was a little tough,
Oh, yes, of course. Yeah.
on Thursday. And at that point I was like, I'm not going to interrupt. I'll just, I'll look at the video or the recorded session when I can.
Okay.
And then that's when I looked down and I was like, oh, it's not there. Oh, what's going on? So anyway, but it's good to know that you'll still be sitting around waiting to see.
I was, yeah.
Pops in. Okay.
I absolutely was, yeah.
You may not be able to give a full presentation depending on when somebody pops in, but
I can still answer questions if there's people who log on and say, hey, how are you doing? I can just check in with you and see how are things going. Do you have any questions about them?
It's good to know. Very good to know.
Yeah.
Okay. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Yeah, and thank you for joining us today on the Pathways virtual support session. And if you have any questions, I look forward to hearing them. Again, you can submit them online. You can encourage your other officers to log on.
Sure. Absolutely. Will do.
All right. Have a good weekend. Bye.
You too. All right. Thanks.